Let's discuss all of this with Donell Harvin. He's a former head of Homeland Security and Intelligence for Washington, D.C., also a member of the faculty at Georgetown University Emergency and Disaster Management. And Donell, the Secret Service says its security worked back in April, but the event did get derailed. What lessons did the Secret Service need to learn from that April incident? And what should be different about the security plan this time around?
Yeah, Worked is doing a lot of work here, pun intended, in terms of the Secret Service's statement. They haven't released publicly any after-action report about what happened. There's some publicly available information about how this individual who was acting alone was able to infiltrate that security. I'll be honest with you, an individual with no background in penetrating security or, tactical and military training should have never gotten that close. And so while the end result is, yes, this individual was interdicted, no one was severely hurt, although a Secret Service agent did take a bullet to his ballistic vest. I think there's a lot of things that could be learned, particularly in some threat environment. It's not lost on us that we're having this conversation with the backdrop of a Secret Service agent being placed on administrative leave just yesterday, as reported, because of leaking information. And so what this tells me is that the Secret Service has had about a decade of scandals and security lapses that I think calls for some type of culture change or a total recall, in my opinion.
And tonight's dinner will be in a different hotel this time around, the Waldorf Astoria, which has room for less than a third of that April gathering. How does the venue change impact security here?
Well, it clearly helps from a security standpoint be able to vet a smaller amount of people. That venue was a little bit difficult to control, clearly, because an individual that was staying at the hotel but was not permitted to come into that area was able to. And so they're able to set up multiple rings of security, which is what you're supposed to do when you have high value protectees such as the president, other heads of state, and they're able to have a more intimate, smaller setting, which is a lot easier to control.
Okay. President Trump, he's suggested moving this White House Correspondents' Dinner in the future to the new ballroom when it gets built. While that might create an issue for the Correspondents Association, do you think when presidents do attend the dinner that it can return to the Washington Hilton, where so much is open to hotel customers? And is tonight a litmus test for that in some ways?
Yeah, we're in uncharted waters. I've been very public about my criticism of this administration as well as DHS. But I will say is that I really like the fact that President Trump is having another go at it. You can't let individuals like this stop something that's a time-honored tradition. I'm glad that they're able to do this at the Waldorf Astoria. If they find a place that's secure, that they should do in the future, I think they should look at that. I don't know if the ballroom's the best place. That's a political decision. But at the end of the day, it really hones back to the original point, which is the U.S. Secret Service. Irrespective of what venue, who's coming, how many people, they really need to be on top of their A game, because the threat environment for our president is the highest that we've ever been since we've been alive. You have not only domestic actors, but you have violent non-state actors and international threats to this president. And so it's well known, it's well documented, and they need to do everything they can to make sure President Trump is safe, regardless of where it happens.
And to your point, showcased by the previous assassination attempts before April's Correspondents' Dinner. Donell Harvin, appreciate your time. Thank you.